stop the video right now if you are looking for comfort, because what I am about to tell you will not make you feel better. It will not give you peace. It will not reassure you that everything happens for a reason, or that you are exactly where you need to be. The woman who enters your life and changes everything, the force that the ancients called the divine feminine, the initiatory power that Mircea Eliade spent decades trying to understand. She does not arrive with gentle hands and soothing words. She arrives with a blade. Listen to me carefully. Right now, in this exact moment, you are convinced that you are awake. You believe that you are conscious, aware, present. You think that the life you are living is real and that the decisions you are making are yours. But what if I told you that this certainty, this absolute conviction that you are already awake, is precisely the mechanism that keeps you trapped in the deepest sleep of all? The sleep where you dream that you are awake is the most dangerous sleep there is because you have no reason to question it. You have no reason to look for a way out. You are a prisoner who has forgotten that the cell exists because you have decorated it so beautifully that you call it home. The texts that Eliade studied, the myths from cultures separated by oceans and millennia, all tell the same disturbing story. They speak of a force almost always represented as feminine that does not come to add something to your life. She comes to subtract. She does not come to build. She comes to demolish. She does not come to save you from your suffering. She comes to show you that what you called life was actually a very sophisticated form of death, and what you called safety was actually the most dangerous prison you could ever inhabit. And here is what makes this so terrifying. When she arrives, you will not recognize her as liberation. You will experience her as destruction. You will fight her. You will hate her. You will beg for the sleep to return. Every person who has ever truly transformed, and I mean truly transformed, not just changed their habits or adopted new beliefs, but actually died to who they were and was reborn as something unrecognizable, every single one of them will tell you the same thing. It did not feel like salvation. It felt like annihilation. The relationship that ended and left you shattered on the floor. The betrayal that destroyed your ability to trust. The failure that obliterated your identity. The loss that broke something in you that you thought could never be broken. You called these things tragedies. You called them the worst moments of your life. But what if they were not attacks? What if they were invitations? What if the force that seemed to be destroying you was actually the only thing powerful enough to free you from a prison you did not even know you were in? Eliade discovered something profound when he immersed himself in the study of initiation rites across dozens of cultures. He found that in every authentic tradition of transformation, there was always a death. Not a metaphorical death where you feel a little uncomfortable, and then go back to your normal life with some new insights. A real death. A death of identity. A death of everything you thought you knew about yourself. And this death was never administered gently. It was always violent, shocking, overwhelming. The initiates in ancient tribes were taken from their families in the middle of the night. They were subjected to ordeals that broke them psychologically and physically. They were brought to the edge of what they could endure and then pushed beyond it. And the guides who led them through this process, very often women, priestesses, keepers of the mysteries, they did not apologize for the pain they caused. They did not soften the blow. They understood something we have forgotten in our modern world obsessed with safety and comfort. They understood that you cannot be reborn unless you first die completely. Think about the stories you know, the myths that have survived thousands of years because they contain truths too important to forget. Inanna descending into the underworld, stripped of everything at each gate until she arrives naked and is killed and hung on a hook. Persephone dragged into the darkness against her will, torn from everything she knew, forced to eat the food of the dead and transformed into a queen of shadows. Psyche betraying Eros and condemned to impossible tasks that should destroy her, but instead forge her into something divine. These are not stories about women who were saved. These are stories about women who were demolished and remade. And the force that demolished them, that dragged them into the underworld, that set them on the path of transformation, was not their enemy. It was the deepest part of themselves, the part that knew they were living a lie and loved them too much to let them continue. You know what touches me most when I read your messages? It is realizing that we are not alone in this search. If you are listening to me now and feel that emptiness, that sensation that something important is missing in your life, I want you to know that I understand exactly what you are going through. There were moments when I also felt completely disconnected from the sacred, lost in the midst of a routine that seemed to suck all the magic out of existence. That is why I want to ask you a very direct question. What was the last moment you felt there was something greater than yourself present in your life? It could have been contemplating a sunset, listening to music, or simply in an instant of silence. If you feel comfortable, write in the comments, "I miss the sacred in my daily life," and briefly tell when that last moment was. Your story might be exactly what someone needs to read today to feel less alone in this journey. And I promise I will read each comment with the care it deserves. Now I want you to think about your own life with brutal honesty. When was the last time something truly shook you? Not annoyed you or frustrated you or made you sad for an afternoon? When was the last time something broke through the protective shell you have built around yourself and touched you so deeply that you could not pretend anymore? For most people, the answer is terrifying. Years. Maybe decades. Maybe never. We have become so skilled at managing our lives, at controlling our environments, at avoiding anything that might disturb us, that we have eliminated the very possibility of transformation. We live in climate-controlled homes with entertainment on demand and food delivered to our doors, and social circles carefully curated to never challenge our beliefs. We have created a world where nothing unexpected can reach us. And we call this progress. We call this civilization. We call this the good life. But Eliade would tell you that what we have actually created is a tomb. A comfortable, well-lit, perfectly temperature-controlled tomb where we can sleep peacefully until we die, without ever having to wake up and face the terrifying beauty of what it means to be truly alive. The sacred, in Eliade's understanding, is not something peaceful and comforting. It is not the gentle presence you feel during meditation, or the warm, fuzzy feeling you get in a beautiful church. The sacred is the complete opposite of everything ordinary, everything safe, everything predictable. It is the eruption of something so radically other, so completely different from normal reality, that it shatters your ability to understand or control or domesticate it. When the sacred breaks through, and it always breaks through suddenly, without warning, without permission, it does not leave you the same. It cannot leave you the same. You have been touched by something that does not belong to the world of schedules and shopping lists and career goals. You have been touched by something infinite, and the finite container of who you thought you were cannot hold it. You crack, you break open, and what pours out is both terrifying and ecstatic. This is why in every authentic spiritual tradition, the guide, the teacher, the initiator is often portrayed with this dual nature. On one hand, nurturing and protective. On the other hand, ruthless and destructive. Because real spiritual guidance is not about making you comfortable. It is not about affirming who you already are or validating the choices you have already made. It is about destroying who you think you are, so that who you actually are can finally emerge. The good mother gives you what you want. The great mother gives you what you need, even if it kills you. And very often it does kill you. Not physically, but in every other way that matters. It kills your certainty. It kills your control. It kills your carefully constructed personality, and your socially acceptable mask, and your safe, predictable, utterly dead way of moving through the world. If you are watching this video, and something in you is resonating with these words, if you feel that pull, that recognition, that sense that yes, this is what I have been looking for even though I did not have words for it, then I need you to pause for a moment and really consider what you are asking for. Because the path of transformation is not the path of accumulation. It is the path of stripping away. It is not about adding more knowledge or more practices or more experiences to the person you already are. It is about allowing everything you are not to be burned away until only what is real remains. And I can tell you from my own experience and from the experiences of countless others who have walked this path, what remains is so small, so humble, so unlike what you expected that you will be tempted to believe you have lost everything and gained nothing. It is only later, sometimes much later, that you realize you lost everything false and gained everything true. The myths that Eliade studied are full of this pattern. The hero must go into the cave, into the forest, into the underworld. The hero must face the dragon, the witch, the demon. The hero must lose everything, fail completely, die symbolically or actually, and only then, only after this total dissolution, can something new be born. But here is what we miss when we read these stories from the safety of our comfortable lives. We think we are the hero. We think we are the one who will go into the darkness and emerge victorious. But that is not how it works. The person who goes into the cave is not the same person who comes out. The hero dies in there. Something else emerges. Something that has no name, no identity, no story about itself. Something raw and real and terrifyingly alive. And this something does not fit back into your old life. It cannot. Your old life was built to contain the false you, and the false you is gone forever. Let me share something with you that changed my entire understanding of this process. There was a period in my life when I was convinced I was doing everything right. I was meditating. I was reading spiritual books. I was going to workshops and retreats. I was accumulating knowledge and practices and experiences, and I was completely stuck. Nothing was actually changing. I was like someone who reads about swimming and watches videos about swimming and talks to swimmers but never gets in the water. And then something happened that I did not choose and did not want. A crisis, a breakdown, a moment when everything I had been holding together fell apart. And in that falling apart, something shifted. It was not the practices that transformed me. It was the destruction of the one who was doing the practices. It was the death of the seeker. And what remained was not someone who had found the answers. It was someone who no longer needed the questions. This is what Eliade meant when he talked about the difference between religious man and modern man. Religious man, homo religiosus as he called it, lives in a world that is alive with meaning, saturated with the sacred, constantly breaking through the surface of ordinary reality. Modern man lives in a dead world, a world of objects and explanations and uses, a world where nothing is sacred because nothing is real in the deep sense of that word. And the transition from modern man to religious man is not a gradual evolution. It is a catastrophe. It is a complete overturning of everything you thought you knew. It is the end of one world and the beginning of another, and you cannot stand with one foot in each world. You cannot be partially awake. You cannot be somewhat alive. Either the old world dies completely or it reasserts itself and pulls you back into the sleep, and this time the sleep will be even deeper because now you know what you are avoiding. If you have made it this far, it is because something inside you recognizes that there is a different path, a deeper way to understand your own spiritual journey. I know what it is like to feel lost amid so much noise of the modern world, seeking answers that always seem to slip through your fingers. That is why I created this space, this refuge where we can explore together the ancient wisdom that still pulses alive in our hearts. When you subscribe to this channel, you are not just clicking a button. You are joining a community of people who, like you, feel that life has deeper layers waiting to be discovered. Here you will find not just knowledge, but genuine embrace for your thirst for meaning. Subscribe now and be part of this journey of rediscovering the sacred in everyday life. Your soul deserves this gift. The question that I want to leave you with today is not whether you are ready for transformation. You will never be ready. No one is ever ready. The question is whether you are willing to stop protecting yourself from it. Are you willing to let the hand that reaches for you, the hand that you have been running from your entire life, finally grasp you and pull you out of the comfortable sleep you have been calling life? Are you willing to admit that the very thing you have been most afraid of, the loss of control, the death of who you think you are, the complete shattering of your carefully constructed world, might actually be the greatest gift you could ever receive? Because the force that destroys you is not your enemy. It is not punishment. It is not cruelty. It is love in its most uncompromising form. It is the love that refuses to let you waste one more moment of your precious, brief, irreplaceable life trapped in a dream of safety when you could be awake in the terrible and magnificent reality of what you actually are. Eliade wrote that the sacred reveals itself through hierophanies, moments when the ordinary suddenly becomes extraordinary, when a stone or a tree or a person is no longer just a stone or a tree or a person, but a doorway into something infinite. But what he also understood and what he saw again and again in his research is that these moments are not gentle. They are invasive. They are violent in the sense that they violate the boundaries between the sacred and the profane, between the infinite and the finite, between what you think is possible and what actually is. When the sacred breaks through, it does not ask permission. It does not wait for you to be ready. It simply is, and you are changed whether you wanted to be or not. I have seen this pattern repeat itself in my own life and in the lives of so many others. The person, very often a woman, who enters your life and seems to turn everything upside down. At first you might think she is the problem. She is too demanding, too intense, too unpredictable. She does not fit into the neat categories you have created. She challenges you in ways that make you uncomfortable. She sees through the masks you wear. She refuses to play the roles you assign to her. And if you are lucky, if you are truly blessed, she stays long enough to destroy every false thing about you. She does not do this because she hates you. She does this because she sees something in you that you cannot see in yourself. She sees who you could be if you stopped hiding. She sees the light that you have been covering with layer upon layer of protection, and she loves you enough to rip away those layers, even though it will hurt both of you in the process. This is the initiatory function of the feminine principle that Eliade wrote about, but that we have almost completely lost in the modern world. We have reduced the feminine to qualities like gentleness and nurturing and emotional support. We have made it safe and predictable and domesticated. But the feminine in its fullness, in its sacred dimension, is none of these things. It is the void that swallows everything. It is the darkness that precedes all creation. It is the chaos from which order emerges and into which order must return. It is the womb and the tomb. It is the force that gives birth and the force that brings death. And you cannot separate these aspects. You cannot have the creative power of the feminine without also accepting its destructive power. You cannot ask to be born anew without being willing to die to what you were. The tragedy of modern life, and Eliade saw this clearly, is that we have lost our ability to die symbolically, and so we die literally without ever having lived. We go through our entire existence in that sleepwalking state, never fully present, never fully alive, moving from distraction to distraction, from comfort to comfort, from one numbing experience to another. And then one day we are at the end, and we look back and realize that we missed it. We were so busy protecting ourselves from pain that we also protected ourselves from joy. We were so busy avoiding death that we avoided life. We were so busy staying safe that we never took the risk of being real. So here is what I am asking you to consider. What if the thing you have been most afraid of is actually the thing you need most? What if the woman who seems to be your destruction is actually your salvation? Not salvation in the sense of rescue, but salvation in the sense of truth. What if the crisis that is breaking your life apart is actually the only thing powerful enough to break you out of the prison you have been living in? What if everything you thought was solid was actually just ice waiting to melt? What if everything you thought was permanent was actually just a stage set waiting to be struck? What if the real you, the you that existed before all the conditioning and all the fear and all the lies, is still there, waiting, and has been sending you these earthquakes your entire life trying to wake you up? This is the message hidden in all the ancient wisdom that Eliade spent his life translating for the modern world. You are not broken. You are not flawed. You are not insufficient. You are asleep. And the force that seems to be attacking you, the feminine principle that manifests as crisis and chaos and loss and destruction, is not trying to hurt you. It is trying to wake you up. It is shaking you. It is shouting at you. It is refusing to let you continue sleeping, even though sleeping is all you want to do. And one day, if you are very fortunate, you will stop fighting. You will stop resisting. You will let yourself be torn from the dream. And in that moment of complete surrender, when you finally stop trying to control and manage and protect, you will discover what the mystics and the shamans and the initiates have always known. You were never the person you thought you were. That person was a character in a dream. And the real you, the you that cannot be named or defined or captured, has been here all along, waiting patiently for the false you to finally die so that it could live. Take this understanding with you as you move through your life. When the crisis comes, and it will come, do not waste your energy wishing it away. Do not numb yourself. Do not distract yourself. Do not pretend it is not happening. Instead, bow to it. Thank it. Open yourself to it completely. Let it destroy everything that needs to be destroyed. Let it strip away everything false. Let it show you who you really are beneath all the layers of protection and pretense. And when you emerge, and you will emerge, you will be so different that your old friends will not recognize you. Your old life will not fit you anymore. Your old concerns will seem trivial, but you will be alive in a way you have never been alive before. You will be awake. You will be real. You will finally be free. This is the gift she brings, the one who tears you from your sleep. Not comfort, not safety, not salvation in the way you imagined it, but something infinitely more valuable, the gift of your own life, returned to you, raw and real and utterly, completely, magnificently yours. And if you understand this, if you truly grasp what is being offered, you will spend the rest of your days not cursing her but blessing her, not running from her but running toward her, not fearing her arrival but begging her to come back whenever you start to fall asleep again. Because once you have tasted what it means to be truly awake, you will never want to sleep again. And you will understand that everything you thought was destruction was actually the most profound love you have ever been offered. The love that refuses to let you settle for anything less than the fullness of who you were always meant to be.